Shane van Gisbergen just told the racing world there's a kind of car he can't stand driving, and the timing couldn't be more interesting. Because this weekend at Watkins Glen, he's about to climb into 3 different cars in 3 different races, and his honest words are making everyone wonder if he can survive it all. Let's back up a little. SVG grew up wrestling big, heavy touring cars on tight street tracks all over Australia. He never wanted a calm, quiet, polished racing life. So when he recently sat down with Jeff Gluck for a chat, his answer about what makes a great race car wasn't your usual boring response. It was a real look inside how this guy actually thinks about racing. Years ago, before Chicago wins and Cup Series fame, SVG had a clear path lined up to a 1GP. For folks who don't know, a 1GP was a country versus country open-wheel series, kind of like a stepping stone for drivers dreaming of Formula One. Most young racers would have grabbed that chance with both hands. SVG turned the other way and picked Australia's V8 Supercars instead. To him, raw racing meant more than fancy prestige. That same thinking now shapes how he sees today's race cars. He talked about a debate that has quietly followed motorsport for years. How much should the driver actually matter to how a car performs? For SVG, the answer is easy. He said, "For me, I want a raw car where the driver is the limit." He wants to search for grip, move the car around, and find lap time using nothing but feel. Then he made a sharp split between 2 types of cars. He explained, "Some cars, you're just driving to the limit of what you've got. You don't have any tools, whether it's your skills or in-car adjustments, to make it better." He kept going. "You're just stuck with whatever you've got. I call those engineers' cars. You're driving what they've given you, and you're stuck at that level. You don't have any ability to make a difference." That mindset comes straight from his Supercars days. Those cars built him into one of the most natural racers alive. His heel and toe shifting in NASCAR is already famous. Back home, drivers weren't babying tires or watching aero numbers. They were pushing heavy machines hard over curbs on tight street tracks, with almost no room for mistakes. To SVG, that's racing. That's feeling alive behind the wheel. He even sees the same kind of complaints aimed at NASCAR's current car as the ones thrown at modern Formula One machines. Here's the funny twist, though. While many Cup Series veterans complain about the next-gen car, SVG actually likes it. The very things others hate, he enjoys. He said, "But cars like these, where the faster you go, the more downforce you make, where you can search for grip, that's what I like." That tells you a lot about why his jump to NASCAR has looked so smooth. Other drivers see this car as tricky and hard to lean on. SVG sees it as a fun puzzle to solve. There's also a real connection between NASCAR's Gen 7 car and Aussie Supercars. They share a lot when it comes to handling and steering feel. That helps explain why he looked so comfortable on road courses almost right away. Still, he's honest about where he stands. Even with all his trophies, he uses his Trackhouse teammate Ross Chastain as a measuring stick. He told Gluck, "I use him as a reference and a yardstick to see where I'm really at." Now let's talk about this huge weekend at Watkins Glen. SVG is racing on a road course in the Truck Series for the very first time. Connor Zilisch is going for his first Truck Series win. Ross Chastain is making his 121st start in the series, hoping to add to his 5 career wins. All 3 are Trackhouse Cup teammates, and they're all kicking off a triple-duty weekend in Friday's Bully Hill Vineyards 176 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. SVG and Chastain are driving for Nice Motorsports. Zilisch is with Spire Motorsports, sharing the team with last week's Texas truck winner Carson Hocevar. Here's something wild. Defending series champ Corey Heim isn't entered. He won last year's race during a streak of 5 straight road course wins. In fact, no past Watkins Glen winners are in this field at all. Watch out for Lane Riggs from Front Row Motorsports. He won NASCAR's first ever Street Petersburg race back in February. Road course pro AJ Allmendinger is also racing, driving Kaulig Racing's number 25 free agent Ram. Allmendinger said, "Watkins Glen will always be special to me. It's where I earned my first NASCAR Cup Series win, and it's a place I've always enjoyed racing." He added, "We had a good Darlington run to get a feel for the trucks, even though it's a completely different challenge from a road course." Hopefully, we can unload with speed, contend up front, and put ourselves in position to fight for a win. The race also has 3 female drivers, Natalie Decker, Toni Breidinger, and Destiny Spurlock. Decker holds the highest finish ever for a female driver in Truck Series history with a 5th at Daytona in 2020. Spurlock is the first black woman to start a race in NASCAR's top 3 national series. But not everything about Watkins Glen has SVG smiling. He's worried about safety. NASCAR added tire bundles in the Turn 1 runoff and a 68-meter tire wall coming out of the Turn 5 carousel. That carousel wall starts 6 meters from the track edge and angles in until there's only 1.5 meters of space. SVG said, "I think Turn 1 is a really good solution. What they've done with the tire packs there and having the gaps in the walls is going to work okay." But then he added, "The exit of the carousel is a bit of a worry. The angle that it comes back on. My experience with those tire walls is they grab cars and spit them out." NASCAR's Ellis answered those concerns. He said, "There is going to be a tire barrier or a tire pack coming out of the carousel, and that is an area where we have seen some pretty hard hits. Ultimately, that one is in place from a safety perspective because we want to help control that as much as we can." He noted that Turn 1 packs help give drivers boundaries and get cars back to the racing groove faster. This is also SVG's first ever NASCAR triple duty: Truck Series Saturday, Xfinity Sunday, Cup Monday. Plus, Sundays go bowling at the Glen at 3 p.m. Eastern is the earliest May date the Glen has ever had. It's also his first chance this season to defend a Cup win from last year. He won the final 5 road course races of 2026, but schedule changes mean he can only defend at Watkins Glen and Sonoma. Mexico City is gone, Chicago moved to the Oval, and the Roval is gone too. SVG knows it won't be easy. He said, "I think it's an expectation you have to manage. We can't go there and just expect to win, but hopefully we're good and competitive and competing for the win at the end." His Trackhouse Chevy hasn't felt right this year either. He admitted, "I've just lacked turn, drive, power, the 3 main things you need. It made it difficult at COTA. In qualifying, we really struggled. Yeah, it's frustrating. Weather could play a role. Cooler temps and possible rain are in the forecast." SVG laughed and said, "I hate racing in the rain, but I'm good at it. I'll adapt if it happens, but I hope it's dry for all 3 races. It's just no fun racing in the rain. You can't be precise. You've got to just wing it. Stuff goes wrong." A few other names to watch. Kyle Larson won back-to-back at the Glen in 2021 and 2022 and is on a 35-race winless streak. William Byron makes his 300th Cup start Sunday and won here in 2023. Christopher Bell has finished top 5 in 7 of the last 8 road course races. And remember, 7 of the last 8 Watkins Glen winners started from the first 2 rows.